Hello. I'm gonna share it and then hang on. Oh no, what have I
Okay.
done? Okay. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. We have the lovely Nicole who is a guest host. So if you wanted to introduce yourself, Nicole. Um,
Hi, I'm Nicole from the channel Nicole and Her Books. I'm very excited to be here. Sorry for the terrible lighting, but hopefully you can hear me all right, so we'll be all good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and so just to like introduce yourself, I shamelessly stole this idea from Aaron from Booked and Busy. But if you wanted to like talk about maybe a little bit three of your favorite like all-time series, so people can kind of get an idea of your tastes and what you kind of like
All-time
and your
series,
favorite
all-time
genre.
favorite. Oh my god, you hit me with the
It
hard
doesn't have to be all-time
questions.
favorite. It can be like three series you've been loving recently or that kind
Yeah,
of
okay. I'll do some books I've been loving recently because otherwise it's too hard.
thing.
I've been loving Robin Hobb's books recently. I've recently finished the Fast Year trilogy, and I'm in the middle of the Trader trilogy, so I'm reading the second book at the moment. I've almost finished it. I really love Empire of Sand. I read that recently, and my favorite book or fantasy book of 2020 was The Fifth Season. So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's good taste. Good taste. um, yeah, I was going to ask you what your favorite book as well that you read in 2021 so far was, but I think you mentioned already. Yeah, okay, so I've tweeted now, so hopefully
Well, I'll
people
retweet.
are aware. Hello everyone in the chat. Oh, yay, proud. um, yeah, yeah, the fifth season is an absolute masterpiece. If anyone hasn't read it, but yeah, so anyway, today we are going to be discussing Gideon. Oh, I always get the camera the wrong way around. Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. So I guess I'll start by doing a little synopsis, and if you want to chip in, Nicole, then you can.
Okay.
I'll try and yeah, we'll try and keep it spoiler free for like a few minutes, in case anyone hasn't read it. But yeah, so basically
Yeah.
following Gideon Nav, who is like this orphan, and at birth she was like dropped off at the ninth house, and it's kind of mysterious. We don't really know how that happened, and then she is basically trying to escape her whole life, but she keeps being thwarted by the Reverend daughter called Harrow Hark. Um, and yeah, so, but then one day Harrow is going to become this lictor for this like competition thing. It's not really a competition. How would you describe it? Like a
It did remind me of a competition.
yeah, sort of like a trial
Yeah.
to try and like discover oh really try and discover the secrets to lictorhood and recruits Gideon to be her like cavalier, which is essentially a bodyguard. And then things start going wrong from there. So they're in this like competition thing with all the other houses, but then like people start dying and it becomes this like murder mystery. And then yeah,
Mm.
it all gets very exciting.
The murder
um,
mystery was so unexpected for me. I was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. I don't think I was expecting that. I think I was expecting it to be more sci-fi than it actually was initially, like before I read it.
Mm.
So I guess yeah, the like murder mystery thing was unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the trial to ascend to another plane of being. That's accurate. Yeah. Oh, hi, Tammy. Oh, yeah. You do look cozy, Nicole.
I look like I'm not here. It's fitting though
You're
for the
fake.
book. I'm on
Camouflage.
brand.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good like aesthetic for the book. Yeah.
Can you
So
hear an echo?
no, can you?
Oh.
It might be
Yeah.
me because I don't have headphones in.
I can
I could
hear
put headphones.
myself. I'm very distracting.
Oh, okay. I'll put headphones in. um. So yeah, do you want to talk about your like overall thoughts on the book? Just
Okay.
impressions.
Um, I had no idea what was going on for a good chunk of it, but it didn't bother me too much because I did really like the writing and I found like the world and the characters all very intriguing. Um, and then yeah, when the murder mystery thing started happening, I was like, "What? This is a murder mystery?" And that
Yeah.
was when I started to get really invested in the story. I think what I found to be the weakest component was like the plot and also sort of the lack of explanation. I do think though the lack of explanation kind of worked a little bit just because it added to that element of mystery.
Yeah, I think you are really
And
just
like
like thrown into the world.
yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
can definitely see that being though why people don't love it.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, the writing was so unique. Like I think that's what really stood out. A lot of that this book was just so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved all
Yeah.
the characters. There was
Yeah.
so many like good dynamics going on, so it was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I love the character dynamics. And I think what you were saying, definitely the first time I read it, like I had no clue what was going on. I was just like there for Gideon and Harry.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think as well I was kind of the same, like once the characters started dying, that's when I got a bit more invested in like the plot. Um
Once everyone starts dying, we're invested.
yeah, is the echo a bit better now?
Yeah, that's really good now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's good. It's me being lazy and not putting my headphones in. But yeah, no, I guess my thoughts is just I really liked it.
Yeah.
This is my like third time rereading, so I feel like the kind of you're thrown in, but because you already know what's gonna happen, it's less like you're being just thrown in to the deep end, and you sort of have a bit more context. And I think also reading Harrow helps with the like understanding of the world, because I think you get a bit more sort of world building in that one. So then when you go back and reread Gideon, then it's sort of you understand a bit more. But yeah, definitely a lot of people are saying that they were very confused as well. And yeah, yeah, I think it definitely feels like that. But I think, like you were saying, it's her writing that sort of draws you in and makes you want to keep reading. What did you
Yeah.
think of the
And
like?
the tone was so interesting. Just
Yeah,
the overall tone, like the sort of gritty, dark humor. Like it was just
yeah,
so yeah, well done.
yeah,
What
yeah,
were you gonna
and
ask, sorry?
yeah. I was just gonna say, what did you think of the humor?
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like the first time I read it, I wasn't sure about it. I think my main criticism was like I didn't like how sort of crude Gideon was. I just felt like it was kind of out of place. But then like when I reread it, I just loved it so much, and I feel like it fit her character so well. So yeah, I don't know why I felt like that the first time, but I really like it
I
now.
think
But
I think it's quite jarring, the whole start of it, like the humor being thrown in, the
yeah,
sort of lack of plot and world building.
yeah,
But I think it all fits. Like if it work vibes with you, it all fits.
yeah, yeah. And I think yeah, Harrow,
Mm.
the second one, emphasizes that even more. Like you're just like what's going on, but sometimes it just like clicks. um, yeah, yeah, the writing, and I have to say, because I'm Moira Quirk's biggest fan, that the audiobook also is a big reason I think I like got sucked in and enjoyed it. Like the voices that she does. Did you listen to the audiobook, Nicole?
I listened to parts of it, but because I've got my earache, I mostly
Oh,
read it
yeah.
physically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I didn't
telling
notice any references, but I know there's
no,
like
I
references
didn't
to
either.
memes. I think, but yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
good.
This comment is a good point on who was your favorite character, and you can
I
answer in the
really
comments as well,
liked
everyone.
um the two people from the sixth house, I think it
Oh
was.
yes, I love them. Yeah,
Yeah, I really liked them. I think the thing what I
yeah,
loved about this book was I loved like the character combos rather than like individual characters more. Like there were just so
yeah,
many good dynamics going on and like banter and I loved that.
Yeah, that's
So I
a really
think
good
that
point,
made me more
actually.
invested in characters. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I love like Pal and Cam. And if you didn't know, anyone, Nicole and anyone else watching, she has a short story. I think it's actually on the tour website of like baby Pal and Cam when they were little, or they're about 12 or something. And it's like them trying to investigate this thing. It's really short. It's like probably take you about 10 minutes to read. But yeah, that's if you just
Oh my
want a
god,
little
I have
hit
to check that
of
out.
Gideon. Well, it's not Gideon the character, but like the world. Yeah, so that's cute. Yeah, hang on, we've got some comments to go through. Um, yeah, so I think my favorite character. Well, I obviously love Gideon. She's very like iconic, but I think I also really love Ianthe. Which I think you don't see a lot of her in this book, but you do get
Of
that.
course you do, Katie. I should have known.
Yeah, the iconic scene where she's like sat lounging in a chair, and then okay, this is getting a bit spoilery now. So if you haven't read the book, then you might want to leave.
I was gonna say, you gotta give people a warning.
Yeah. um. Yeah, so like she sat in this chair and she's like, "Oh, I'm a lictor now," and like, she's not eating his heart literally, but that's sort of how I pictured it. Um, so yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes. Um, yeah, yeah. I feel like Gideon's a really interesting like POV to see the book from, because she's kind of and like her snark as well. Yeah, the sixth house.
Yeah.
I feel like I really like the sixth house as well because like it's kind of the almost medical house. Like that's their kind of brand of necromancy. I feel like if I was a house, I would be in the sixth house.
Yeah, probably me too.
Yeah. The sixth, oh, what's the one I thought of? I can't remember now. Maybe like the eighth. I don't know. I didn't really like those characters, but I did like the kind of whole vibes.
Yeah.
They're not in it very much, I don't think. Oh, yeah.
I think my least favorite was House 2. I don't know why.
Yeah. I think they're definitely my least favorite as well because they're just like there. They're like the soldiers. They
Yeah.
don't really add much. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know who your favorite in book one was actually. But yeah, Tammy's favorite is a character that's not actually in book one.
Oh.
So yeah. Isaac and Jean Marie. Oh. So pretty. I feel like that was so painful when that scene.
Actually, something I loved about it was how, I don't know how to put it, but how empathetic Gideon was, like when they died, and then also
Yeah.
even when, what was the first one? Was it Marcus?
I think
Mangus?
Magnus.
The first guy
I
that
always struggle
Magnus.
to remember Magnus or Marcus.
I don't know why I made that messed
Yeah.
up. But
No.
when he died and she was like, "Oh, he was so kind to me." Like I really
Yeah.
liked that side of Gideon because you
Yeah.
so often saw her like vulgar side
Yeah.
and her more lighthearted side, but then you saw these really sweet moments of her and I just really loved that dimension it added to her character.
Yeah. 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 I agree because I think at her heart she is kind of quite a sweet character. Like you can tell she
Mm.
kind of cares about Harrow, despite being outwardly like she hates her.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. No apologies here.
None of us are surprised, Katie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And actually, Magnus and Abigail, I really like them and their dynamic as well. I really want a backstory for them, just like a cute little prequel of them like falling in love. I think that would be so cute.
Yeah, they were truly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah, it got worse from there. Oh yeah, yeah. Magnus had major like dad and dad joke energy. Yeah. 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 The characters are definitely one of my favorite parts.
Yeah,
And I think she does
for
a really
sure.
good job of like characterizing them in a way. Like the characters all feel very distinct and different. Like I think it would be easy because it's kind of a massive cast. Like because you have, well, it's not that big, but like you have two from, or three in the third house from like every house, so it's quite a lot of people to keep track of. But I feel like they do
Yeah.
have quite distinct personalities, especially when you've read them like 3 times like I have. You can kind of see the differences, and yeah.
And I think she did a really good job as well with the character combos and how they sort of contrast with each other, like Gideon and
Yeah.
Harrow contrasting each other.
Yeah.
Like, I think it all worked really well. And then you kind of remembered the pairs better.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just talk a bit about Gideon and Harrow because I love them so much. Their banter is just so
So
good.
good.
Yeah.
So good.
I think like I was sold on them from like, I think like near the beginning, and there's this scene where it's like, I completely fucking hate you. No offense. um, yeah. Yeah. And
I
like,
think
and
it
the
would have been
whole,
so. Yeah.
I was just gonna say the whole pool scene. Oh,
That was my
yeah.
favorite scene. That was
Yeah.
so
Oh,
good. Oh
yeah.
my god. And that scene actually had me tearing up. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
fully cry, but I was like
Yeah.
tearing up. It was so
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I loved there was also a moment, I think I said it in my like updates, my Goodreads updates, where it's like,
Yeah.
I want you to trust you or something, and then I want you to be trustworthy. I can't remember the exact quote,
Yeah.
but I
I
loved
think I
that moment.
agree.
Like there
Yeah.
was so many moments where I was just like,
Yeah. And
yeah.
I feel like they almost have like a connection that goes deeper than just like shipping them, like as a couple. I don't know. I
Mm.
feel like they're kind of like, I don't know
Yeah,
how to
well, even
describe
from
it.
like the beginning, how it talked about how like they didn't really grow up with any other kids. It was just those two. Like they
Yeah.
were really all each other
Yeah.
had. And then the end
Yeah.
with Gideon. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh. Yeah. Oh. And she
Oh,
like, oh. Yeah, that actually had me tearing up. Like the most
yeah.
recent time I read this for this live show. Yeah, I was like walking and I listening to the audiobook, and I was like subtly crying. But yeah. Oh, and when she like becomes the kind of, you almost see a little bit from her like ghost point of view.
Mm.
Yeah, that was so like, well, yeah, I agree with this, Skylar. I feel like it's not quite Grumpy Sunshine, but it's like, I don't know how to describe
Mm.
it, but like Harrow has the kind of like goth
It's that same
energy.
dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Gideon's very kind of exuberant. I think it's so funny
Mm.
actually when like she has to take the vow of silence, or like she doesn't have to take it, and she's like being silent, and then there's one point where one of the characters says, "And you talk," and then someone else says, "And you wish you wouldn't," or something along those lines. But I love that scene. Yeah, I think Tammy summed it up perfectly. Sarcastic
Yes.
anyway. Yeah, okay. Well, let's just get back to some of the comments. Yeah, that is a mood.
Yeah, actually I
Um,
loved how she caught a griddle. That was so good.
yeah. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna, Leila asked what is your favourite scenes. So yeah, that was one of my questions as well that I had. So I know you
Yeah,
mentioned the
mine was
pool
definitely the
scene.
pool scene. I also really
Yeah.
liked the scene where they found what the guy's name, the head, the guy that
Fritz,
was dead all along.
yeah, I
I
love
was
that
like that
sequence.
moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And like where Gideon thinks Harrow's done it, and like, yeah,
yeah.
that
And then she's
I
talking to the people of the Six and like talking about how she doesn't really trust Harrow, and it's like,
yeah,
oh.
yeah, yeah. Like she doesn't know to what lengths Harry would go to.
And then you don't know, like, because you want to, like, because I feel like because I
Yeah.
went into this knowing that it was enemies to lovers, I wanted to
Yeah.
trust Harrow more, or like I was more
Yeah.
inclined to trust her than if I didn't know it was
Yeah.
enemies to lovers. I probably would have trusted her less. So I kept
Yeah.
doubting because of all these things that were
Oh,
happening. So it was,
yeah.
very conflicting,
Yeah.
but very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Harrow's definitely a very interesting character.
Mm.
Like, and I think, yeah, once you start seeing inside her psyche, it's like, what is going on? You are completely insane. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite scenes are. As I've said, I really like the Ianthe scene when she reveals she's a lictor. And I also really like the pool scene. What else do I like? Yeah, I'm trying to think of other scenes now. I think I quite like the scene where they're like all sat around having dinner and like Magnus is making his like dad jokes and they're all just sort of chatting. I don't know. I thought that was cute. What else? Yeah, just basically any scene with Gideon and Harry together. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely don't get much screen time. Although I feel like the Eighth House do get a bit
Mm.
like towards the end when there's the whole thing with the ghost. Is that Glorica's ghost?
Yeah.
Does that happen in this book? I think so. Yeah.
Having one of those moments.
Yeah, I'm sure she like visits the Eighth House and then tells them
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Oh, I love the one flesh one end thing. And like and how that has so much meaning once you like know what a lictor is. Um yeah. Yeah, how do you feel about the ending?
Um, it's interesting this is a series. Like, I'm like, how are we gonna go
Yeah.
on? Like, I'm guessing Gideon's not dead, like, because she's absorbed, right? And I know I've heard you guys say that the second book has second POV. So, like, my guess is it Gideon? Like, I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. I was gonna ask you at the end what some of your theories for Harrow are. So you can
That's
get
all I've
thinking.
got.
Yeah.
um,
Oh yes, this the whole point of Museum, and I cannot conceive of a world without you in it. Oh, that's so. Oh, yeah. Okay, we've got some more scenes. Yeah, the pool scene. The dueling scene. Oh yes, I love this scene. And when
yeah.
Pal is like to Cam go off and she like destroys them. Yeah, I love their dynamic. Yeah. Oh yeah, how do we feel about Dulcinea? Dulcinea? Dulcinea?
I feel like that one was a bit more obvious, like that whole reveal.
Yeah, I didn't really see that coming actually. The first time I read it. Like I guess I sort of knew she was like up to no good. Or like she wasn't quite what she seemed.
They
But
kept referencing her like so much, like in the story, and I was like, okay, she
yeah.
has to have some larger purpose. Like, there's more
Yeah.
to her, and
Yeah.
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 But it didn't bother me because there was like so much other mystery.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting because I don't think I like fully grasped the relevance of it the first time I read it. That like she was actually one of these like lictors, like come
Mm.
to. I still not entirely clear on the purpose she was there for. I think it's to like thwart new lictors being made to kind of threaten the emperor, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it was something like that.
yeah. But yeah, I thought it was interesting how she like tried to impersonate Dulcinea. um, yeah. And also the seventh house magic I thought was quite interesting, like how they sort of glorified like I guess blood cancers basically because that was like a constant source of
Mm.
energy. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of things as well with like just random like names of bones and stuff that are just thrown in. I feel like she either did a lot of research or like she knows a bit about like anatomy. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, everyone's very excited for you to read Harrow. Yeah, and I think you really like it because I think it has like similar vibes to kind of like the Golds in Red Rising, like these kind of bickering, powerful beings. I don't know. Yeah, the ending is definitely painful. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Do you mean like Gideon, how she came to be on the ninth house? Because
Like
that's
with
the
her
opening,
mum.
isn't it? Where she like
Yeah.
arrives and the mum is like Gideon, Gideon, Gideon. I feel like you do find a bit about that in Harrow, but the ninth, but you don't. I don't feel like you see much more of them like growing up in the ninth house. I guess, but yeah, it's interesting. I feel like there's a lot. You kind of feel like the characters, there's a lot more to them than just what you see on the page.
Yeah, I feel like this book lets you fill in the gaps a lot.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And I think you almost sort of have to in order to make sense of it. Yeah, with the laboratories point, I think I found it hard to like know. I found it hard to visualize because I think I was thinking of it as like this really old-fashioned, like Victorian manor, but then it's
Yeah.
actually I think like quite a modern tech facility. So I don't know what was going on
Yeah,
there.
I did find the
Yeah,
setting at times difficult to visualize, especially because like
yeah,
I knew this was like space related, so I was like
yeah,
trying to mesh it all in my brain, and I wasn't creative enough for it.
yeah. Yeah. I think it's like because it's got this really like creepy gothic kind of vibe, but
Mm.
then the setting's a bit kind of modern because they're like going on these space pods and yeah. So
But then there'd be like descriptions of like, skeletons, like statues around the door
yeah,
and things. So
yeah,
yeah, it really gave me like old mansion
yeah,
visuals, like gothic
yeah,
visuals, and then yeah, I don't know, it was a interesting combo, unique. This whole
yeah,
book was very unique.
yeah. I agree. And I think yeah, I haven't really come across anything with kind of a similar plot to this. Really, I don't know. I guess I can
I've
see sort of
heard people compare this to Nevernight, but I think that's more like the tone of the story.
yeah. I feel like that's probably tone. Have you read
Yeah, the
Nevernight?
plot is different. Yeah, I have read the whole trilogy. It's completely different story
Yeah,
wise.
yeah. I
But
didn't
yeah, I
see
could
the
definitely
plot,
see how
but
people think. And it does end
yeah,
up having a bit of a murder mystery as well in like a closed
yeah,
setting. Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I always like murder mysteries in like closed settings because then I feel like it adds the tension and like you don't know who to
Yeah, for
trust
sure.
and you sort of know it has to be one of these characters, especially in Gideon because like there's no one else there. I guess it could be that teacher guy, but like yeah,
That
that was
teacher guy had me
interesting.
so confused. Like I
Yeah,
kept thinking he was someone else, like one of the other teachers,
yeah,
because you know how like they would refer to people like by their last name, by their first name, by like their
yeah,
house. I kept thinking
yeah.
he was like someone else. I kept having to backtrack to like try to
Oh,
figure out who the hell he was. I was so
yeah,
confused.
yeah.
I don't know why, but that made me more confused than any other part of the book.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I didn't really follow him that much the first time. I think he's like a construct, isn't he? Or like a revenant or something. He's like a soul
Yeah.
attached to a body. Um,
I think I
yeah,
thought he was the like her trainer at one point. What's the?
Yeah.
I can't even remember the old lady's name.
Oh, laminate.
I got them. Yeah, I
Laminate.
got them mixed up because
Yeah.
I got it mixed up with so many people. It got
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah. There's a lot of like characters to keep track of.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. The hug, and when Harry just has no clue what to do. Oh, bless Harry. Um. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I feel like that does get answered a bit in Harry the Ninth. Um. One. Ooh. Oh yeah, this is interesting. So this scene, I feel like the first time I read it, I paid absolutely no attention to this scene
I don't
because
think I did. I'm like, what's this scene?
yeah, so they like go into this laboratory and they find sort of a few things, and I think there's like a note which mentions a Gideon, and I think there's another note which is like one flesh, one end, G and P. Um, and I think the G. Oh well, yeah. I'm not going to say that because that might be a spoiler. But yeah,
I think
that's
I vaguely remember that.
yeah. I think that is relevant later on, so that's good to know. Yeah, Tammy says like Gothic castle aesthetic, but with tech. I think I agree with that.
My brain's struggling to mesh the two.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely an interesting like
it's not working.
combination of styles. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah, I did
Although,
that, but I couldn't find teacher, and that's why I was so freaking confused.
I'm gonna look. The
Like, where is he?
yeah, I didn't really look in the because I just skipped that part of the audio book. Because like
Yeah,
at the beginning, and the narrator just literally like reads it out.
Yeah, this teacher's not on there, so that's why I was so confused because I thought they were referring to someone else.
Yeah.
And I told Katie before we went live that I actually started rereading this already.
Yeah.
Because I went back and started rereading the last part because I felt like I rushed it to finish it before this live, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna restart it. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's already interesting rereading.
Yeah. Do you think you understand a bit more like on reread?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
because that's thrown in.
Yeah, I think the first like little scene bit where like Gideon is escaping and then Harrow's like thwarting her latest attempt, and she like Gideon's about to escape on this pod, and then Harrow like shows up and like they have this duel, and I actually really like that scene. And I think the first time I didn't appreciate it as much because like you're just like, what's going on? But
yeah,
I think it's quite a fun little scene that just really introduces their like two characters so well. But yeah, I think it is always really helpful when books have like character lists.
Yeah, especially fantasy books. Yeah.
Like techie bot. Yeah, that's a good way of.
That's working. That's processing.
That's interesting. I feel like there are a lot of like little hints and stuff. Not just with teacher, but with other things.
I'm too busy like finding his name to think of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely a book that's really enjoyable on reread. And I always like it when books like hold up on reread, because some books I feel like I read once and then like I'm done with them. But
I don't think I said my rating actually.
Oh yeah, feel free to share your rating.
I think it's a 4. I was gonna wait until after this live to give it an official rating, but
yeah,
now that I'm rereading it, I'll just wait until I finish the reread.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was about a 4.
Yeah. The first time I read it, I gave it 4. But then both my rereads, I gave it 5.
Hopefully that's me.
Yeah. And then for Harrow, I think the first time I read it, I gave it like 4.5, rounded up to 5. And then the second 2 times, 5, both times. Because I feel like you just, when you're not as confused, you like appreciate more the kind of masterpiece of the writing.
Yeah.
And like the plot, because I know the plot, like when you first read it, it definitely feels a bit like what's going on. But I feel like they actually kind of tie it ties together quite well. I don't know. I just like the whole murder mystery thing and like there's what going on and yeah. Yeah, 5 out of 5. We love to see it. Yes, Rue, you should. You should. There's so many iconic scenes in Harrow. Like, there's a few iconic scenes in Gideon, but like the iconic scenes in Harrow are just, yeah.
I heard the last book doesn't come out until like next year.
I know, 2022, which is very sad. And I think Gideon is a bit more of a self-contained story than Harrow is. Like Harrow definitely leaves on sort of a cliffhanger, whereas this one I feel like it is a cliffhanger, but also it's sort of a story in itself.
Yeah, it feels like the end almost. Like it could have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get more world. That's my hope for Harrow.
Yeah. I think that's definitely something you get of. Well, not world exactly, but like galaxy.
Just world building.
Yeah, world building. You get that.
Because like the story was so contained. I feel like there was only so much we got.
Yeah. And I think you learn a bit more about the different houses. And I don't know how to say it without being spoilery, but I'm gonna try. The way that Harrow is set up, you see more of certain characters that you thought you might not see any more of, and I feel like that's a really good way to like get to know them more as well. So like, and then certain characters, and you go back when you reread Gideon, and then you like love them even more. Yeah.
Interesting.
I was as vague as possible there.
You did well.
Yeah. Reese says once you accept you're going to be confused throughout, you enjoy it a lot more. Yeah. I feel like this time when I was rereading them, I was actually trying to make an effort to like understand what was going on. But yeah. Oh yeah, very excited. Okay, yeah. So anyone who hasn't read Harrow, and Nicole, you're included in this. If you have any theories, I know you already mentioned the thing about it being second POV, and possibly that being Gideon. But if you have any more theories of like what's going to happen, then definitely let us know. Oh yeah. I feel like it takes you with Harrow. It takes you about 2/3 of the book for it to like properly click and realize what's happening. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think the same with Gideon as well. Yeah. I feel like that's a universal experience. But it is honestly like a masterpiece, but you just have to be confused. I don't know if I had any like theories before
I don't really have anything.
Yeah, because it follows, because like the kind of the like I guess the continued timeline, so following on from the end of Gideon, you kind of basically have whole new characters. Like the only one who's still there is Harrow, and then so we're mainly following Harrow, which I don't feel like is a spoiler because it's the title.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I'm just gonna have a cheeky look in the epilogue.
I do think, like I said, I think Gideon's gonna come back somehow. But I think other characters that were said to be dead are also gonna come back because they kept saying how like death is the beginning. So if they're gonna come back alive or as ghosts or I don't know. That's my theory. I feel like we're going to see a lot of them come back in some way.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to
am I right or wrong?
Yeah, there's a character that's in I guess it's not really a spoiler, Ianthe, but I don't know if we know her situation at the end of Gideon. Oh yeah, it's in the epilogue, so I can say this. So Ianthe is also one of the new lictors along with Harrow, so we do see a lot more of her in Harrow the Ninth.
Okay.
which is good for me.
Mm.
And she's also a very interesting character. Yeah, definitely got to keep that brain fresh. Yeah, I think you are in the minority. But I do sort of know what you mean, because you are like less just thrown into the world. I feel like it's confusing because of the sort of timelines of it, and like I almost feel like it would be less confusing to read Harry if you hadn't read Gideon because of something. Yeah.
Not you promoting reading series out of order.
Yeah. I had to confess to that I was filming today, and I filmed my like February wrap up, and one of the books I read the sequel without having read the first one. So yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be a long wait, which is very sad. But also I'm so excited for the final book, and I hope they reveal the cover soon, because I think it's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I was just looking at my book, and I was just looking at Gideon's ginger hair, and like one of my favorite scenes is when there's like Gideon takes down a hood or something, and I can't remember which character it is. I think it might be Dulcinea, and she's like, "Why, Gideon? You're a ginger."
Oh.
That was so funny. Yeah, I was. This is a side tangent, but I always wanted to be ginger when I was little, because like
so
I have a very slight gingery tint to my hair. It definitely doesn't come across on this shite webcam, but like you can see it in some lights, and I think especially in the summer. But yeah,
I feel like I can, like, not here, but I feel like I've seen it in your videos. My brother's a ginger, like he's like full on ginger. And he's got brown eyes, so we're completely opposite. But I always wanted his hair. Yeah.
My brother's girlfriend's like bright ginger, and she has such nice hair. I'm always so jealous.
Is she like the strawberry blonde? Like
no, it's ginger? like gingery ginger. I don't know how to describe it. I guess it's that answer. That's it. That's an interesting theory. I think if you think about the kind of vibes of the book, then you might think what kind of arm Ianthe is gonna have.
Skeleton?
Yeah. Oh yeah, necromantic bone arm. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It does feel kind of like a jigsaw. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I feel like they have ambiguous endings in Gideon. I think that was what I was thinking of when I wasn't sure if the characters had been like mentioned.
Yeah, because like everyone's pretty much dead at the end. But I just feel like they wouldn't have, like, we wouldn't get all these characters and all these setups if they were really dead. You know what I mean? I feel like most of them, if not all, have to be alive in some sort of way and come back in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I think... don't kill them all.
Sorry, I'm burping. Yeah, I was gonna say something now, but I've lost my train of thought.
Your burp distracted you?
I know. Inappropriate bodily functions. Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's really interesting when you kind of, if you think at the start of the novel, because I don't think I expected this. Basically, when all the characters are there, like all two of them or whatever, no, all of them, or like two from each house, only really like two characters kind of definitely survive at the end. And like when you think about it, that's quite like dramatic. I don't know. I feel like that's like Hunger Games level. Yeah, like a lot of characters die. It's quite
even more than Hunger Games though, because
yeah, like Battle Royale.
Yeah, there you go.
At least you don't get a countdown at the end of every chapter. Yeah. Oh, it's Corona. I quite like Corona Beth and like her banter with Ianthe.
She was so funny, especially at the end. There was something she said after one of the reveals, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Let me find it.
Yeah, and like their whole dynamic with their Cavalier as well, Babs. That was so funny. He's like, they're always like, just sit down. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Rue. It's sort of, you know what you're getting into. Like, it's definitely similar writing style and stuff to Gideon. So you're a bit more prepared. Oh, yes, this is a good point. There is some amazing Gideon and Harrow and Ianthe fan art out there, and all the other characters as well. Like, I've seen some really great Pal and Cam fan arts, which I just love them. I'll try and find a because I know I saw like on my timeline earlier today some fan art of the pool scene, and I think I liked it. So
you're always tweeting stuff that comes on my all the time.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Where is it? Oh yeah, there's some Ianthe art. Oh, it's the wrong way. There we go. Don't tell me I didn't like it. That's sad. But yeah, it was some really good art anyway of them in the pool.
I'll look it up after I finish Harrow. I don't want to risk spoilers because that's happened too often.
Yeah, I'll send you the pool scene fan out though because that's not got any spoilers for Harrow.
Okay, yeah, because it's in Gideon.
And there was there's this Instagram account that I follow called like Lock2 Memes, which is quite funny. Yeah.
Of course you follow it. Yeah.
I feel like Camilla will have more of a purpose because of her promise to the warden. Oh yeah, that's true. Because what does she say? I can't remember. I don't think it's this one where it's like, you know what to do, Cam. Does he say that to her? When like she...
I don't know if I remember.
That might be... I think it's like, because you know when he like goes to speak to Dulcinea, I can't say her name, and like blows her up or gives her turbo cancer or whatever. I feel like before he sort of knows what he's going to do, so he says goodbye to Cam. Hi, Aaron.
Hello.
Yeah. I love Camilla. Yeah. I feel like she's like my kind of, I don't know. I feel like she's another one of my favorite characters. Just her.
House 6. Yeah. I really liked House 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some of the fan art definitely makes Gideon like beefy. Yeah. One of my favorites. Yeah, I can't quite remember that scene. Or like, isn't it just when Ianthe's ascended and she's just like in a ball crying on the floor?
She's very dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all pretty dramatic.
Yeah, I love the whole like drama.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Leia.
See you.
Bye. Okay, so he says it to Gideon, who relays it to Cam. That was the like promise thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's me not remembering it, even though I've read it several times. Oh, I have too much in my brain. It all just falls out. But yeah. Well, let's see what... Oh, yeah. So one of the questions I had to ask was, if you could choose, would you be a necromancer or a cavalier?
Necromancer.
Yeah, I think I would be a necromancer too.
Yeah, I want the magic.
Yeah. And I guess I don't really know what kind of necromancer I'd be. Like, I do quite like Harry's bone magic.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd also like some kind of like healing magic. I don't know if that's really a power that they have. But I guess I don't know if it's explored in this book, but I know they do have like necromancers that can like manipulate the human body. Yeah. So yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that though.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't feel like I have the like muscle or the athletic talent to be a cavalier.
Yeah. I also just want the magic. Like, as soon as there's magic in books, I want the magic, not the body strength.
Yeah. Oh, everyone thinks she's sad about Babs, but she's like,
yes,
Babs.
that moment.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, they were such like an iconic trio. Oh yeah, that was interesting. Where Corona's not a necromancer and like Ianthe's like doing all the work. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of foreshadowing and like hints like dropped throughout. And I think hints for like what's going to happen later in the book, and also hints for like what's going to happen in Harrow. And I think one of the hints that I guess I missed the first time, but like noticed on reread was, you know how like Pal and Dulcinea have been like writing to each other when they were little, since they were little, like writing love letters or whatever. But then like Dulcinea that we meet in person like doesn't know him at all and like doesn't recognize him. So yeah, that's a bit of foreshadowing.
I was shipping him with Camilla.
Yeah.
Was that the only one? Was that the only one? I was like, no.
Yeah, I don't know if I ship them. I really like their like dynamic.
Yeah.
But yeah. I feel like they're like Cavalier and Lictor dynamic. I don't know, it just feels like so, or not Lictor, like Necromancer. Like almost beyond romance. I don't know, they have just this like deep connection.
Yeah, I think they all kind of remind me of like the bodyguard trope, you know, like even though it's not quite it, but like sort of. So I think that's why I was like just shipping them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say something else about the foreshadowing, but I can't remember what. So I'll just leave it. Oh yeah, I'm not really into the whole pulling out my bones part. Oh yeah, that's what Harry does. Oh, it is a little bit creepy when she like shoots things at her finger or whatever. That's definitely something interesting. But yeah, I think it's cool. Do we have anything else? Any burning points that we want to talk about?
Is that it for the... Oh yeah, I just caught up in the comments.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
Same, Nicole, but I don't quite know what she's talking about.
Yeah, neither do I. I was going to say something.
She's just agreeing.
About shipping everyone because of the bodyguard.
Yeah, probably.
Is that it?
Yeah.
The great ship is probably Gideon and her sword.
Yeah, Gideon does like her sword.
No, but Gideon's whole like look, like her sunglasses, everything.
Yeah. She's so iconic. Oh, I love the sunglasses.
Yeah. Oh. The red hair, everything.
Yeah. Shipping Camilla and Palamedes.
Oh, okay, I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah, I'll find some fan art to send to you of them.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I guess unless you have any final points, we could wrap up there.
I think we discussed everything. Did we answer all your questions you had?
Yeah, we did. I I think. Yeah, they weren't the most extensive or in-depth list of questions ever.
They got us talking. They
But
did
yeah,
what they
got us.
intended to do.
I'm sorry we didn't do any deep analysis of the book and
It's a
its
lot to
themes.
absorb. I had to reread it several times
Yeah,
before I do a deep analysis.
yeah,
I'm not that
but
smart.
yeah. Also, yeah, I'm not that good at like picking up on deep themes of books. Really, I feel like I can occasionally if it's obvious. But yeah, I like get so excited about the characters and like the dynamics, so I just want to gush about them. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Next month we'll be reading Look in the Shadows by this is my copy by Lynn Fwelling. I can't really say the name. It's like an
Is that
older class.
older book? Yeah, I was gonna say it looked
It's
old.
old. Yeah, yeah. It was written in like the 90s, I think. And I think it is a male book, and yeah, it sounds really fun. So definitely be on the lookout for the live show. And my guest host will be Blake from Blake the Book Eater. Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us in the comments. Yeah, I'll try and catch up with them. Yeah, bye. Oh yeah, thank you for reading it. I'm always happy to spread my agenda. Yeah, thank you very much, Nicole, for joining me. Yeah,
Thank you
this
for
is really
having
fun. And
me.
everyone, please go and subscribe to Nicole if you're not already for some strange reason. Um, yeah, and yeah, thank you, and bye bye.
Thank you for
Bye.
joining.
Oh, and oh.